Okay, so you cut a 2-inch strip that's 44 inches long. So if you're doing a standard fabric length of 44 or 45 inches, after you wash it, because you always want to wash it, and with anything that you're doing with masks, make sure you're washing it on high and drying it on high to shrink it as much as possible. So you do your 2-inch strip, and if you fold it so that your ragged edge, which will happen when you wash it, line those up here, then you would square off the edge here and cut a 2-inch strip there, and then when you unfold it, then you would have your 44-inch strip here. Okay. Okay, then you're going to press it so that it's folded in half like this, and then you're going to fold it in half toward the center on both sides. So this side will come in, and then this side will come in, and you press it again. Okay, I've got them both ironed toward the center, and then you're going to come back through, fold it in half again so that your raw edges are on the inside, and then you're going to press it one last time.
And rolling.
So if your fabric ends really nicely here, you can see it's the selvage is really pretty and sealed up, then you don't have to do this next step. But if you had a fabric more like this one, where you've got prints, you've got a white edge, it's not very nice, and if you wanted to get rid of that, this is the step that you would do. Open it up, fold it over, and I would do, I don't know, 3/4 inch maybe, and then you can press it like this, just to give it a little bit of a crease. And then you'd run it through your sewing machine, doing a seam here. Then you would fold it back to being being the strip that you had before. And then when you sew the strip here, it would end in a nice, pretty finished edge. And if you already had a pretty edge, don't worry about that. We will just do the next step without that fold. Okay, so on this one I set the stitch length a little longer than I did the mask because it doesn't have to be as tight. I've got it about a 3.5, so it goes a little faster. You want to start with your piece a little bit further out back here. Even though it's not sewn here, I'll show you at the end what you'll do to compensate for that. I've got the fabric just at the edge of my footer, and leaving about a 1/4 inch on the open side, which you'll see when it comes through here. Okay, so it's got about a 1/4 inch here, and it seals it up. You're still not done, you still haven't done this part, but I'll show you at the end what that is. Okay, when you get near the end here, so this is the first pass that I've done. I'm just going to go all the way up to as close to the edge of the fabric as I can. Okay, so that's going to be the last stitch. And then you can tie these off to make sure that your threads stay over time. All right, so we did that whole strip, and then I whipped it around. So here's the part that I finished. And then I pulled it around to bring back that first part that I had left open. So on this side, just come back and do another pass through the machine. And I'll start fairly close here. Now you can resolve this by doing a reverse stitch or a back stitch, but my machine, if you try to do one all the way up to the edge with this thick fabric, it just doesn't work well. So I do this little cheat here. So pull these extra threads to the side and stitch all the way to the edge like we did on the other side, going really slow at the end until you're in the last stitch you can get out of it. There it is. After you have your mask ready, so this is the mask piece all sewn up, you're gonna do sizing. So you'll put it on the face and then see where you need to fold it before the ear starts. And then you can mark that with a pin, and you'll match the other side. So when you go in, so if it's, my face is pretty small, so if you overlap your pocket here, you can place it inside the pocket and do a stitch. You want to leave enough space that your string's going to be able to go through it. So I could probably stitch mine right here on either side. And if you have a larger face, it would be closer to the edge here. Okay, so once you have your flaps sewn over, you'll take your piece and thread it through. Think about whether you want to have the tie up at the top behind the head or if you want to have it behind the neck. And then you'll just work on feeding it through. Okay, so now it's done. And if you need a trick, like this was made for a larger man, and if it's difficult to get your string through, if you attach a safety pin to one side, then you can feel it through and push it through. That's a secret trick there. So it goes up over the head and then ties around the back. Again, too big for me.